Hello! In this video, we'll learn how to add the HonorLock LTI to a Blackboard Ultra course and how to enable your Blackboard Ultra exams with HonorLock proctoring. The first step of adding HonorLock to the course is to select the View Course and Institution tools under the Details and Actions section on the left. Then, browse All Course Tools and select the bottom right plus sign in the HonorLock box. Next, to make HonorLock visible to students, select the Hidden from Students text and select Visible to Students. Now, HonorLock is active for the course. The next step is enabling HonorLock with your assessments. You'll first need to create the exam within Blackboard Ultra. Select the three horizontal dots on the exam you wish to enable proctoring and select Edit. Select the Settings gear icon and scroll down to configure proctoring settings. Ensure that HonorLock proctoring is selected in the proctoring service field and toggle on Enable Proctoring. Then select Save. This next step is very important. In this main panel, please select Save again to save your settings. If you accidentally click Cancel or the X button, you may need to enable the exam with proctoring again. After the Save button is selected, you will be directed to the proctoring settings page, where you can customize the testing experience for your students. To turn off or disallow a setting, click on it, and you'll notice that the blue checkmark goes away. The blue checkmark indicates that the setting will be active for the exam. Let's take a moment to learn about the available proctoring setting options. Our first three options are our recording options: webcam, screen, and web traffic. When these are on, Record Webcam will record HD video of the student's face and testing environment. Record Screen will record the student's desktop or laptop screen. And Record Web Traffic will monitor and log the student's internet activity in Google Chrome during the exam. The following three toggles are relevant to the HonorLock authentication process. These steps will occur before the exam begins. The exam timer will only start after the completion of all authentication steps. The student photo requires the student to take a still image of their face. Then, the student will be asked to show a school or government-issued photo ID. HonorLock will read the name on the ID and ensure it matches the name registered with the institution. The final step of the authentication steps is the room scan. The room scan requires that the student show a complete 360-degree view of their testing environment, and there's also going to be on-screen messaging informing your students of this. If you want your students to show specific items or areas during the room scan step, for example, showing both sides of their scratch paper to the webcam, or showing their cell phone being powered off and placed out of reach, feel free to use the additional instructions section below to detail out exactly what you'd like your exam takers to do for the room scan. Manual review is a premium level of service, and if you don't see this option in your settings, your institution is not currently using the service. When toggled on, HonorLock proctors will review each student exam attempt in its entirety and flag accordingly. There are two calculator options built directly into HonorLock. We have a basic 4-function calculator as well as a scientific calculator. Turning one calculator on will turn off the other. The next set of toggles are relevant to the exam's lockdown functions. Disable copy-paste will prevent students from copying exam content and pasting it outside of the assessment. And disable printing will prevent students from printing the exam content. Browser Guard is HonorLock's secure browser solution that prevents students from accessing additional applications outside of Google Chrome. Any attempts to access external applications will generate an automated flag to be reviewed when viewing your students' results. Allowed site URLs will grant access via another Chrome tab to any sites that you add below. So that could be a link to your e-textbook, desmos.com for an online graphing calculator, or a link to any other web page that your students might need to complete their assessment. When you add the website, please be sure to click the Add Site button. Any URLs that you allow will be accessible to your students before the exam, before they launch proctoring, and during the exam in the student toolbar. You should only use the simulated exam toggle for practice exams. Students will not be recorded or flagged when this is enabled. Following the section for proctoring settings are the student guidelines with 9 preset instructions to let your students and HonorLock proctors and support staff know what is and what is not allowed on the assessment. By default, all the student guidelines here are unmarked, which means that they are not allowed. If you wish to allow a particular guideline, click on the option and a blue check mark will illuminate, indicating that the behavior is allowed. If you wish to expand on any of the student guidelines, for example, specific room scan requirements, please write it in the additional instructions section. You may need to select Show Additional Instructions to access that field. The first 3 toggles are tied into our artificial intelligence that alerts proctors when specific student actions occur. When open book, notes, or scratch paper is marked as allowed, students will not be flagged for being partially out of view. HonorLock will abide by the following guidelines, but if you have a different or additional expectation of your students, please use the additional instructions section below. The Open Book Allowed option will allow students to use their physical book or e-textbook. Notes Allowed will allow students to use paper and digital notes, and when scratch paper is allowed, students can use multiple sheets of blank paper and a pen or pencil. We strongly recommend requiring your students to show both sides of all physical materials during the room scan step. Restroom breaks allowed will permit your students to leave the webcam view for a short period of time. We strongly encourage you to add additional instructions around the duration or frequency exam takers can use the restroom so that our proctors can provide specific instructions to exam takers in the event that you'd like to limit those breaks. We do have some calculator options built into HonorLock, but in the event that you want to allow your students to use a handheld calculator, you can choose this option here. Headphones allowed would mean that your students can wear any sort of headphones during their assessment. Hats allowed would permit your exam takers to wear a baseball hat or a hoodie on their head. HonorLock will always allow your students to wear religious head coverings during their assessments. Take exam in a public area would indicate that your students can complete their assessment in a coffee shop or in a library or anywhere else where other people might be around and noise could be present. Background noise allowed would permit your students to take their exams in areas where other people might be talking or where excessive background noise may occur. The accommodations section is where you're going to let us know about any students with any accommodations that you cannot physically set yourself within the LMS. In other words, deadline extensions and extra time can be set from the exam options outside of HonorLock and do not need to be included here. What does need to be included in the accommodations section are any students that require accommodations that you cannot adjust from the exam settings. For example, if someone needs multiple restroom breaks due to a medical condition, if you want to allow a student to use a screen reader or authorize a student to use a second monitor, please include those types of accommodations in this section. The last setting here is for exam visibility. We recommend leaving this option set to No, which would only list the exam in the student's HonorLock tab when the exam opens, and it will be removed from the HonorLock tab when the exam deadline passes. If it is changed to Yes, students will always see the exam listed in their HonorLock tab. Once you're satisfied with your settings, guidelines, and accommodations, please click Enable to save your settings. If you need to change any proctoring settings or view student results, select the HonorLock LTI in your course content. Feel free to contact HonorLock support if you need any assistance enabling your exams. We are available 24/7 for help. Thanks for watching and have a great day.